it's an interesting environment, and the trends that we're seeing are a little bit different depending on which country you're in. In the UK, we've definitely seen over the years a growing volume and scale of video programmatic, and certainly over the last year, both on the demand and the supply side, it's evolved a great deal, just in terms of the standardizing across the metrics, across platforms, and just being able to have a solid base from which to work so we can scale. And I think 2016 we're going to see that really start to scale in the UK. If you look outside of the UK and you look onto continental Europe, you see some really interesting activity. So if you look at France, for example, that market has jumped in feet first into programmatic. I think that it's very technology driven, and you can really see that in terms of the acceptance of programmatic across video, particularly across the publisher side, where you've seen a lot of activity on the SSP and on the programmatic supply side, and also on the demand side in terms of a lot of the activity with the trading desks. So I think France is kind of characterized by its technology savvy marketplace. If you go to, let's say, Spain, again, it's a country where we've seen great activity, and I think that the benefits of programmatic are being realized there, and we're seeing a lot of growth both across kind of the premium side, but also down to kind of the more long tail market as well. So it's all in all big growth, I think, which is great, each characterized a little bit differently.
If you could just explain a little bit how Videology works on the buy side, the sell side, how you fit in that ecosystem, and sort of some of the market forces that are driving the growth. Is it the buy side? Is it more inventory coming online?
Yeah.
Kind of give us a...
Well, I think the market forces, you need both. So until you have both kind of fully in, it's going to be difficult to scale. And in terms of the solution that we provide to the demand side or even the supply side, our solution is all about being able to consolidate media with advertising and to optimize the way that the media is delivered across the advertising according to metrics. And those metrics are determined by the advertisers and what is common in that particular market. So we're the platform where this can happen. And I think the value that we add is that we're able to optimize how we're allocating this, because the resource is actually quite scarce. It's very different from display, where you've got an abundance of supply. So you don't have the scarcity issue, and you can optimize on you do optimize on the supply side. You optimize separately on the demand side because you've got the liquidity to be able to do that. In video, it's a little bit more complicated because you don't have that liquidity. So de facto, by helping the media owners optimize, you're actually helping your advertisers achieve the results that they need, because you need to allocate that in a better and a more efficient way.
How do you see the future of programmatic TV, and as it could be part of what we know as linear programming?
I definitely see the future there. If you take a step back and you go back to audiences and consumers, so consumer consumption of TV content is changing, and we all know that. We see that people are starting to change and consume content across devices. Sky is a great example of it. It has many innovative packages to allow their consumers to consume a piece of content over multiple different devices. And also we're starting to see new distribution models of TV content. So things like Netflix, new players coming in, changing distribution. And what that all means is that both the demand side, or both the brands and the advertisers, need to understand how they're going to reach these audiences now. And also the media owners, the content providers, need to understand how and build the tools to be able to target those audiences cross-platform. And coming back to your question about how does linear fit into this, it's basically what we're starting to see is some shifting, some viewing shifting. We've seen it in the States. We've got some great examples of ratings dropping from linear TV and moving into digital. So it's a real problem that I think it's a real business problem that the content providers have. It's how do I now move into this new world? And I think the way for them they're going to be successful in doing it is if they have a standard and scalable process to be able to move into the digital world, which actually is part of the linear processes that they currently follow. So coming back to your question, is there going to be convergence? What's going on? I think definitely it has to happen. And the path to get there is going to be by working together with the linear side of the equation with digital, because you don't want to stratify the two. You don't want to have the two separately. So I think the future, and Scott will definitely talk about this, is how do you get the two sides to come together and deliver one consistent view of the audience and the customer.